Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about how are Roblox games effectively unstable. So basically we're going to be diving in network and physics and targeted content. We're going to be doing all of that. So get prepared. It's about to go down as we talk about how Roblox games has been unstable over these past months and also within these recent updates. So basically, network lag, unstable internet, and connections that will, like that will be where the players to ping, and ping is like something when you use like your avatar to do a specific movement, and when players get pings, that has also a major impact on how players will respond in their own perspective, which is also bad for players. But that's not the only thing we can talk about. Let's talk about the physical issue. The physical issue is the proportion of the body and physical actions and movement. So let's talk about how the avatars moves and how these pinging problems can have a big expression on perspectives and how other people feel. Okay, basically, the physics issue, basically like complex, and the physics like the ropes or the chain system that freak out and that could cause a non-appropriate behavior and differences within the law of frames, within the frames. So frames is a small portion of pieces of what it is and how it is within that specific place. So these frames can be targeted repeatedly in content of mandatory different and so many things you can't even explain. It's just so bad how players is doing this. Like definitely over these past months, it has definitely got over control, even out of control. So even let's talk about the network. These networks can go from places like restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, that maybe have a more slower Wi-Fi or a more faster pace within their within their own Wi-Fi and connections of circulations. So let's talk about network and how these can have repeated lags and miss able to use within the avatars that people want to do in their Roblox game. Basically, network lag, unstable internet connections that will that will also have aware of players where it has a more a substantial stability. So let's also talk about targeted content. Now, this is also a major problem within the Roblox community because targeted content can ruin players and make players mad. It can make them feel sad or their own type of emotion or um um accessibility within their avatars and how they will feel in their own perspective and what they want to do. But Roblox, let me tell you something. Roblox report system within the moderation content is highly unacceptable. It is highly unacceptable. Like even if you try to report them for these type of specific things, it's I tell you, it is just out of control. It is very expressive. Like people express how they feel about Roblox moderation system and report system and how players are still getting targeted for repeated content as we're about to talk about it. Like somehow this is a non-stop problem within the Roblox community because Roblox knows that this is a major problem. So let's talk about targeted content, and then we're going to talk about physics of integration within all types of numbers and signs, that how it can also affect the ping of players and how these games are effectively unstable. The targeted content successful games focus on sample of just repetitive loops like let me tell you, for like example, like grinding, that are more easy to manage. Like grinding is also a major impact on games that are in the Roblox community, but it's also can be also manageable and easy to manage. So it's not really a big problem that Roblox will face, but it still has a major impact on players and their own perspectives. Okay, so basically let's talk about the physics of integration. Okay, so basically Roblox, well, they use a Euler integration, which yeah, it is considered a more like a more far of a less but less stable than other simulations games, but small incurrence, and over a time it lead to a more explosion, also with a high mass of ratio objects. And that also is going to have a major consideration, and it's also a major problem within the Roblox community. Let me tell you about ratios. Basically, what is a ratio? A ratio is more like a mathematical comparison between two or more quantities that indicate a more relative size, typically using division. So, like it is very expressive when using a colon. Like ratio objects is more of a more quantity of comparison that is relative in size. So this is why Roblox are talking about objects and ratios, because it relates to size of quantities and comparisons from part to part. Like it is very significant. Well, what is a simplification? Simplification is a ratio that can be simplified just like fractions, or like by dividing both sides of a greater common factor. So that also can have a more usage for the commonly using like scaling or receipts. That can also relate to Roblox. Well, part to whole, like use a example like the ratio of boys to the total students is 10:40, or 1/4, which is also an example of a ratio. So now that you know the ratio is, it also has a whole part in part to part within quantities, and how it can relate in sizes within the Roblox communities and avatars, which is why this is considered more of a targeted content, and more physics of integration, and also more network lag, and how games are effectively unstable within these few months. So that is the reason why there's a big problem within Roblox, and it also has a lot to do with ratios, because ratios plays a big common factor within how it goes from part to part within the size and relatable factors. And yes, this can also be contrast compares when you use like or as, or you compare two things alike, but we're not talking about like or as. We're comparing two things alike from part to part to whole to whole, to see how we can find this objective of ratio. And contrast is when you're not using like or as, or you're using something that is unrelated, and you're not using a comparison between two things. So yes, this is going to have a major impact. So yes, ratios and objects can also affect Roblox accessibility and network lag, and also integrations of physics. And we would talk about this scientifically, but this is mathematically, because it has a more objective rotation within the Roblox network of avatars and accessibility. So that is why we're talking about it mathematically instead of saying it scientifically. But we're not talking about characteristics of the fundamental of physics or life science. We're talking about the fundamental of math and ratios and objects from part to whole and the greatest common factor. So let's not dive into math, but guys, Roblox, somehow it is still going. Somehow Roblox will never quit. It is still going to keep going. It's never going to stop. It's going to be a repeated action within Roblox avatars, community, and accessibility. So Roblox won't be able to do anything about it, with also these major updates that just came like a few months ago. So Roblox will not be able to do anything about this and have access to these features within the Roblox avatars, as we were talking about ratios and objects and physics of integration. Roblox will not be able to fix that problem, because according to my calculations, Roblox is a high percentage of chance Roblox will probably not even do anything about it. We're also basically talking about percentage. A percentage means like a per 100 out of 100, or derived from the curriculum of represent a portion or a whole express of a fraction within a denominator of 100, or not only just 100, it could also be a percentage of a ratio from part to a whole. So basically, as you talk about percentage, the population is how many people in that particular group is being studied. So a population, basically how many people work for the Roblox community. If basically you give example, if they pull 100 out of 100 of the people that plays Roblox per monthly, and they survey all of them, is more like of a sample of a population, because you're pulling them and you're doing a more conclusive of a more part to whole type of person, from person to person to person, to get their own perspective, which is also a type of sample to population. But as we use it, we always put population before sample, because population is how many people in that particular group is being studied, and that is the first thing we will mainly be worrying about and talking about. So yes, this is going to have a major impact on Roblox. It's going to have a major impact on players. It is going to highly affect the Roblox community platform and game creators and avatars. But we're not only talking about these things that happen weekly, we're also talking about these things that happen monthly. Like I'm talking like 10 months ago, 5 months ago, even just 2 months ago. But it's not nothing brand new, because it's not more than a year ago or more than 2 years ago. So it's technically not something that is considered in way in the past, or just considered more excessively old. So basically, yes, it's gonna have a major impact on Roblox, games creators, accessibility, and more things. So yes, for wondering, yes, it will have a major impact on network, physics of rotation and physics of movements and ratio objects. um Many people may be concerned about this and may consider this more of a more crazy type of topic, or more of a bad thing, but it depends on other people's perspective. It doesn't depend on just one person perspective and how they feel about something. It comes from per to person. So um I hope you guys enjoyed this video, as we dived into ratios and more of a percentage type of way, as you can call it, from part to whole, and a little bit of compare and contrast, a little bit of, English up in here. But yeah, it's going to affect a lot of players, not only just from the past, but it's also going to affect in the future too, because Roblox basically comes out with new updates almost every now and weekend now, and it be something that we least expect. So yes, it's gonna have a major impact. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you try to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. I post every Saturday and sometimes on Sundays. Peace.